I don't even know the name of this. Magically. It's the podcast. Ding, ding. Hi, my name's Megan Fairless. I'm here with the amazing Tori Rose. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Tori Rose. I am a photographer. I work a lot in the St. Louis area as well as on the other side. I live in Wood River, so I work in Alton, St. Louis, a little bit everywhere. Specialize in couples, weddings, family, a little bit of everything.
So what's your favorite thing to do? Like, what brings you the most joy? Like, you don't hate editing it, or you're like, okay, I gotta get this done right now.
I love everything I do. I honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of photo shoot it is. Like, whenever I come home, I'm immediately downloading the pictures, going through them, sending sneak peeks, and I get carried away with the sneak peeks. And then it's like, here's your 20 sneak peeks. I'll send you the 100 other ones in 5 days.
There's some people I'll see, like, especially with weddings, I feel like with events, like, it's very important to, like, get it done as fast as possible so it's relevant.
Yes.
And I'll see on forums, it's like, I'm still waiting for my photographer to deliver my photos from 8 months ago. I'm like, oh my God, they have no soul. Like, they don't care. Like,
it's crazy. I mean, honestly, just from a business perspective, especially weddings, I will come home and I will edit until 1 a.m. so that whenever they wake up and announce their marriage tomorrow, they're posting my pictures.
Absolutely. I'm in the reception, or I'm at the Mike Riley do at the reception using the amazing Canon app.
Beautiful app.
We're using it, right?
10 stars, doesn't disconnect ever.
Yes.
You know, I have my phone set to never automatically lock anymore because of that app.
I love it.
Like, it's screen on all the time unless I hit the lock, because the app will kick you out and then you have to reconnect, and it's, yeah.
I love it. So you do a lot of self-portrait work too.
I do. I do a lot more of my creative side on my self-portraits, because, like, there's no pressure. There's nobody there. There's no client. Like, if I end up not liking them, I just spent time learning.
Absolutely. That's what I did during 2020 is, like, I always looked at my friend Siren. She's this beautiful goth model of my friend of mine. And I'm like, Siren, why do you always look so good? She's like, I take so many damn photos. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do this. I'm just repetition. That's how you make perfection. So I just started taking a bunch of pictures of myself, and you learn better about lighting and, like, stuff like that. My problem was during, anytime I do a self-portrait, as soon as the idea burrows a little hole in my brain, it has to happen immediately.
Yes.
It's on the top of my, like, brain constantly.
Yes, like, I'll be doing something and then I'll realize, oh, I have, like, nothing going on tonight, so, like, take some pictures. And then I'll have, like, an idea of, like, a concept, and then I'll go home and trash the entire house, like, putting it together, and then immediately spend several hours editing.
I'm gonna sleep.
And then time's gone, and you can't even post them because it's like 12.
Yeah. Perhaps I'll wake up with 3 likes. I'll look at my hard work. No.
Honestly, I was talking about this before we started, but, like, creative stuff just doesn't even really get received well anyway. So sometimes I'll be like, it's 11 o'clock, but I don't care, because even if I post this at 10 a.m. tomorrow and everyone sees it, they're still not going to like it. Because really, I did it for me anyways. Like, it wasn't for them.
Everything I do for myself.
Exactly.
It's like how I said, like, so my whole rule in life is low expectations, because you'll ruin your life if you have these high expectations.
Preach
to happen.
sis.
So everything, I'm like, if it happens, it happens, cool. Like this whole thing, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to expect anything. We're going to edit it.
Right.
5-minute bit of information, cool. Whatever. But
No, 100%. Like, I hate, well, I mean, I think we all did it, like, as a child. Like, we would set these high expectations, and then we would kind of get let down.
yeah.
So now as an adult, we're just kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah.
If it's good, awesome. If it's not, whatever. I didn't expect it to be good anyways.
So speaking of childhood, did you have a dream of being a photographer as a kid?
So I was a MySpace queen.
Okay, I love it.
Like,
I have to secretly get on my best friend's computer to have a MySpace. Sorry, Mom.
No, like I was super into like self-portraits and editing and like taking pictures. I don't know if you ever used this. It was an online-based editing thing. It was called Picnic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think the whole entire first year of my photography business was this online app. And then finally Shannon Bray was like, maybe you should use Lightroom. I was like, maybe.
I mean, like my dad worked for the company that I work for now, and he did like their website and stuff. So he had Photoshop on his computer. And so I did take like a college for kids class at Lewis and Clark and learned like some Photoshop. But honestly, it was just too big of a concept for someone my age. I can't. Content aware though,
Yeah. I've been seeing that on Instagram. I was like, maybe I should.
it's so lazy. As long as you make sure your subject is like you've got a little bit of that paper to the border, you can make anything disappear and it looks like a huge.
I used to think that people just had huge backdrops.
I did too. I thought these people had huge studios with these massive backdrops.
I was like, what lens do they use? Like, it ain't working for me.
Is that like an 18 millimeter or something?
Canon app.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Where we go? Thank you, Canon app. Maybe I'll get a sponsorship one day.
No. I don't even understand how they hand out the sponsorships.
It's a game. Everything's a game. You just have to like.
And then the people that have it, like, don't really talk about it enough. Like, I'm like, okay, why are you guys gatekeeping all this information about how you made these things happen? Like, I'm an open book.
Yes. Well, and tell us some tips. Well, I feel like you're really good at networking because I feel like you have so many cool shoots with like some of the most elite people, especially for.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
So, like, I don't know. How do you go at it? Like, do you look at them as like equals, or are they like, oh my God?
Oh, no. They're so up there.
Yeah.
Like, the day I shot with Joan Fisher, I was like,
I look at all of her stuff. It's like,
pinch me. Like, in the presence of a legend, and she felt that I was on a level enough to, like, want to work with me. I mean, it was pretty cool.
it's dope.
I'm so glad I saved the raws on that. Because I went back this slow season and I was working on editing those and stuff.
She seems like a mastermind. I don't understand how hers.
She's so nice too.
Yeah. I'm glad for that because there's some people that are kind of scary, and then that makes like it hard to like, you expect other people to be scary too. So then you're like, oh, she's famous. Like,
I think that like some of that scariness just comes from you feel that they're being pulled in so many directions. Like, they're not going to have time for me.
yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I feel like a lot of people approach me that way, that they're like, oh, she's so busy doing this, and that. Like, she's not going to have time to do this thing.
I feel that too because like some people tell me that and I'm like, oh, absolutely not. Like, I purposely like have lazy time. I'm like,
You have to.
but then I do put that facade to other people too, though. That's my own problem. I'm like, I'm too busy.
Also, at the same time, I don't want to go.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing is when something gets canceled, I'm like, oh, okay.
So sad. Now I'll have to have me time. Oh, it's the worst.
So how do you balance having an amazing photography career, working a job, and living life still? And I figured out because I don't think anyone has it.
No one does. I feel like it all comes in waves, and we all just take it in waves. Like we were talking about, like right now is pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like I've had lots of time to just hang out, work on other things, work on like back end things, taxes.
I don't want to think. I mean, I did it. I was like really good and like for all my employees, like I got it all out. You know, like, you're going to be good people. This is what you do. And then like, I don't do it. No. I mean, I do taxes, but I'm like so procrastination queen. Like,
Oh, that's one way that I balance all these things is I stay on top of that.
yeah.
Like I cannot fall behind. That's also why my like communication with clients is so fast, because I have to get back to you now. I can't. We're supposed to set, hours around our business.
That doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, because a lot of times clients are getting back to me at the end of their day at like 9 p.m. It's the end of my day. I mean, I don't really want to be doing business right now, but we're going to get this all worked out. get the contract sent, get the deposit, and we're going to be good.
Yeah, because if you're like me, I go to bed at 8 o'clock. They message me at 10, and I wake up at 5, and I'm like, I reply because I'm rude. Because I don't think about it. I'm like, oh shit, people aren't awake that early. But
yeah, I'm not conducting business at 5.
But they then it's all the way until the evening again before they're able to get back to you. So it's like telephone almost. But yeah, that makes more sense to be quick. What other tips do you have for or what tips would you give yourself when you were younger about what to expect for now or how to get to now?
Oh my God, it's so crazy. Like, I would never expect everything that I have now. Like, if you had asked me 5 years ago, that I couldn't have told you any of this. None of it. Because, like, whenever I was in my early 20s, like, I was not in a good space. I wasn't really doing anything. I got sober in 2018. So going on 5 years now. And that's whenever everything started to, like, kick off. And I was just, like, seeking out doing more things with my life because I wasn't trying to drink anymore. And like whenever you remove that from your life, like you realize there is so much more to do and accomplish whenever you remove that. So like I went through a divorce at the same time, and my gift to myself from my divorce was I bought myself a Canon T7i.
That's like a whole like metamorphosis happened right there. Like,
well, but listen, it sat on the shelves for 2 years.
But I mean, you were going through stuff. No,
I was like going
there and ready.
I was going through my fit girl phase. I was dedicated to the gym at that point.
Yeah.
And then whenever I got COVID in 2020 in December, that's whenever I was like, I'm going to just sit down and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out editing.
Yeah. So it's really only 2020.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That's why I wanted to interview. You got just like this drive that's insane, but it's just like you got a clear mind, so you're able to focus, and I think you just like go get it. Like, I see it, I want it, got it.
I mean, like, I didn't have any intention of starting a business.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, money's nice.
The money is nice, and like I would just posted some self-portraits, and people saw them, and they were like, "Oh, are you doing X, Y, and Z? Like, I'm looking for a photographer," and I didn't have a portfolio.
And nice self-portraits.
I had nice self-portraits,
yes.
But oh my God. Could you go back in time and be with yourself at your first family session?
Oh, no. I don't want to be with myself at a family session today. You know what I mean?
You know, but so I was like, I didn't even understand that you can't shoot in the middle of the day.
No, yeah, the sun and everything like that. I didn't understand ISO or f-stop or any of that until like 5 years solid into using a camera. Like, I was just like, fucking...
See, I waited. That's all that stuff that I figured out whenever I had COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I want to kind of like know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I spent all that time learning the functions and how to shoot raw and like what settings you need to use and all of that.
Write it down. How do you deal with stress?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just so busy I don't even have time to think about it.
That's understandable. What happened? Okay, then what happened?
Like, I'll just be driving. And I'll be like, oh, I need to email that person back, and I need to get these pictures done by tomorrow, but I also have to get all the call done for the wedding next weekend, and then I also need to call my mom. And then I also, that thing for work, I was waiting for that guy to get it done. He got it done. Now I got to log back in tonight, and I got to push the button and make the thing move.
You just do it. It's one day.
And calendars.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about how many people run a life as an adult without a calendar. But it's not you.
No. Yeah, that's not fair. I don't want to be the agenda.
Like, single people.
Yeah. They're lucky. I'm envious of them. I feel like my calendar is like down by the hour every day, color coded. Like, am I just a profile?
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "I want to hang out with you," and I'll be like, "Okay. How how do you look on the second evening 2 months from now? And they'll be like, I don't know, sure. Then it comes around, they didn't have a calendar, so they didn't write it down.
They're busy or ghost.
And they made another plan. And you penciled them in 2 months in advance. But again, we'll take the free night.
Yeah, just like, okay, I guess I get to.
On me.
I seriously love it. Like sometimes, like if it's for certain reasons, I'm like, that was rude. You could have done better than that. But then I'm like, I still get to take a nap.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time, though, if it's a session, I'm like, please, I had to write it into my contracts that people cannot, I put a penalty in there, basically. Like, it's $50 if you're going to reschedule. Because especially like during busy times like May, I'm completely booked.
Yeah. That's some of the crazy bits that like I don't think people fully understand. Like not only just being out actively working, but all the back end stuff too. There's a lot more going on, and then like the schedule is just overwhelming, and then like life. That's important too, because then if you don't live that enough, then you just like feel like you're working yourself to death.
Have you ever had a wedding client ask you what you're going to do if you can't make it the day of their wedding?
Yes.
That's a crazy question to ask.
I think about it all the time. I'm like, what if I just die? Like that'd be peaceful. Like I don't have to worry about anything. It sucks for them, but like I have enough people like
I think
up.
about how many people would be like, she died?
Yeah,
What am I supposed to do? I'm getting married next month.
That's fine. That's what, okay, so my big thing that I learned I get like depressed every winter, and I just like have to be aware of it. So then I have to be more proactive. I know it's like a thing that comes every year. So this year I really hyper-focused on Rob Dyrdek, and one of the things he preaches about is your business can't be successful unless it's able to run without you. And that's kind of nuts.
Oh,
Being a creative.
well, my business will not be successful without me.
No, exactly. That's like, I'll always be like, Megan, he's always me, but I realize that like I'll be more successful if I'm able to take a step away too, and like I don't know, that's how I built up the team and everything else like that. Jordan's been with me forever, like since middle school, and then like just random people I've met along, I'm like, okay, I vibe with you, like
Yeah.
like put it out there, like who wants to work for me? It's just like you're really fucking talented.
Yeah.
Like how much do I have to pay you for you to want to stay consistent with me?
Right.
And then I pay ass loads of fucking money because I'm like,
Yeah, what's how we are.
yeah. But no.
Help it.
But yeah, so that's why I'm able to do more free stuff now. Like I feel like I kind of got like salty on business films. Like it's so weird. Like I always want to try and give them a deal, but then I end up putting 3 times the amount of time into it.
Well, but also like the same. It's really hard to price stuff, but I know that if what I'm making is content that's going to help them make money, I need to account for that, and I need to charge a little more for that, because it's not like I'm just capturing a nice picture you're going to hang in your house. Like you're going to put this on business cards, you're going to put this out on any type of marketing, you're going to use it on social media. So like that's leading to more business for you. And in order to do that, I'm making sure that those images are professional.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm very much more into the details on those kind of pictures.
So how do you practice self-value?
What do you mean?
Like making sure that your value is like the best match for your time and what you're doing.
Well, you know I don't do that.
I feel like everyone has an awful time with it, and it all is like who you surround yourself with.
But okay, we'll go back to the self-value.
Yeah, okay. Self-value.
I mean, I make sure that I'm in alignment with people in the area that deliver images that I feel are around the same quality of mine. And I make sure that my price is kind of just a little bit lower than theirs.
Yep. That makes it easier to sell.
And I think my prices are pretty competitive.
Yeah.
There's some people that might think that it's too much, but that's okay because we're not the right fit. And that's something too about growing is you don't have to take every client.
Absolutely.
And I definitely don't have time to take everyone. So whenever you can charge a little more because you have more experience, I have more expensive equipment. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I have raised my prices. I've also got new e-commerce invoicing system, contracting system. All of those things cost money.
Oh yeah. God bless Honeybooks. I just got into that. Like I'm the worst at.
It's so hard too to like redirect people to a professional like payment method because everyone wants to still like give me cash. They want to give me Venmo, and like that's cool and all, but if everything goes through my invoice system, it all comes on a nice 1099 at the end of the year.
Goes to the tax lady. I love you.
I don't need to take care of anything else. Here it is.
Jeez. Yeah. All right, so many sessions.
Many sessions.
I always see everyone else, like my cousin. She does them so successfully, but it's the only thing she does. That's my problem, is that I always try and do everything, and then I get inspired. Oh, they're doing a mini session. I want to do a mini session. I book like 4 people.
I like the idea of it, and like I did mini sessions here, the studio right over there, and like I put out a poll. I've had people ask me in the past about mini sessions. Honestly, my prices are the price of some people's mini sessions anyways, so I'm already on the market, but I rented out the studio. I put a poll up to make sure there was interest first. I said, here's how much it's going to cost, how many images you're going to get, the day I'm thinking about doing it. I had 12 people say that they wanted to do it. Like, that's plenty.
How many came through?
I posted it maybe like a few weeks or a month in advance, and right out the gate, everyone wants to enter for my giveaway. No one wants to buy the mini session.
They're like, I'm going to wait until I win.
And I wrote it into the caption. I was like, don't wait to see if you win, because if they all sell, I'm just going to refund somebody.
Yeah.
So like, and if you win, I'll refund you.
Yeah. No.
It was such a big headache to put it all together and like figure out dates. And like, I was already in money because I paid to rent the studio. And I was like, at one point I was like, I just hope I make enough money back that I can have paid for the studio rental.
That was me this weekend. But no, yeah, it's stressful. Definitely have to be like strategic with, I mean, it's cool. Like if you like are, I don't know, you just have to be really strategic if you're going to do it. And like, I don't know.
I want to try and do them around Christmas because people love the Christmas ones. And I have a girl that goes to my gym and she is super festive. And I was like, girl, I want to hire you to set it all up. She's like, just give me pictures. I'm like, deal.
Bet. Yes. Collaboration is like the best thing in the whole entire world. Like the less, like that's what I always preach is like, I know exactly what I suck at like the most. And then I find other people that are really good at it. So like I try and surround myself that people that do better things. Like I knew I suck at video games. Absolutely. Hand-eye coordination. You saw me set this up. Okay. So I was like, hey, Jordan, you like video games, don't you? Okay, here's a drone. Can you be my drone guy? Thank you. So, yeah.
That's always been my worry with drones, too, because I suck at video games, too.
Do you feel confident?
No, that's why I wouldn't want to pay hundreds of dollars to fly it up and then crash it.
Yeah. I used to hire other companies, and like they were like, yeah, we crash once a month or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, you must suck. Or like, it must be like that bad. I was like, that's a big investment. So I got the insurance, the Best Buy insurance, like everything. Like, if it goes down, it goes down. He hasn't crashed it once. At least that he's told me. He's probably got secrets. I'll interrogate him for his and every.
We should talk about wedding.
Yes. So, did you start doing weddings right as soon as you like it?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I was so scared to do weddings.
Pandemic weddings. Those are terrifying.
Like, I was just scared of the responsibility of photographing someone's wedding. That's a huge responsibility.
It's unlike any other, like, because events are cool. They only happen, like, you can't repeat anything, but still, like, not as much, like, expectations. Like, you fuck up someone's wedding, like, you're in shit. Like, I've never, like, knock on wood. Like, okay, that's a lot. I don't know how Michael Gebbin fixed it, but I used to work underneath Michael Gebbin. He owned Gebb's Total Video. That was one of my first weddings. And he was like, was the red light blinking? And I was like, oh, there's supposed to be a red light blinking? They didn't get their speeches, I don't think, or maybe one camera angle, but
That's scary.
that's just a year for having a 14-year-old working a wedding now. So that's on you.
It must have cost less than normal.
I don't know. Okay, so I'll tell my story another day, but yeah, weddings were what I started in, and it's like I guess that made it easier because it was just like nothing at first, and I'm like, okay, I see the importance as I went on.
Okay, so you didn't realize it until later.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, so Sierra McGuire and Ethan Lord, they hired me to do their wedding, which I just did in December. It was December 31st of 2022. They hired me to do that before I was even doing weddings. Like, I made her meet me. We had coffee, and I was like, so what are your expectations?
Like, realize I've never, like...
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I think I take great pictures, but, like, I want you to know my confidence level was really not there. And she's like, no, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
Tell me what to pay you.
Yep.
So, but between that conversation and her wedding, I've done like 30 or 40 weddings.
Yep.
So, like, by the time I got to her, she's getting a deal, bro.
What did you sell it for?
$150 an hour.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, she saw the faith in you. Or she had faith in you at the beginning.
She did, and she's
I'm gonna knock this.
been so supportive too. Like, I did their family pictures a couple years ago. Like, just good people.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how you'll become friends with some of your clients? Like, there's some that like I full-heartedly love. Like, I have to think, like, some of my best friends that I float down the river like every single year with religiously on like the same 4th of July weekend. Like, we were there when they found out the gender of their kid and everything. Photo client. Like,
Yes.
met from a wedding. Like,
Yes. I think
So-
there's even people that like already kind of like know of you as a person, and then they're like, oh yeah, like I like their energy, and then they'll hire you for a job, and then like you just become friends.
Yeah. That's a big thing about the industry that I always try and preach to anyone that like asks me about wanting to get into it is like, it's one thing to know like technical stuff, but I can preach on the fact that I suck technically. Like, I tell everyone, like, I met Justin Kuhn and he's like super technical. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Like, again, talking about stuff that like, I'm ignorant on, and I know I am. I just messaged Danny and I'm like, hey Danny, what should I buy? And he'll just send me a link. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. But it's all about personality and making people
Yes.
comfortable, like not being in the way, not being rude, feeling the vibe of the day. Cause
That's why I was saying that like my business would not succeed without me,
no,
because I am the business.
you'll see one day you'll hire more people. We're gonna get tired.
I don't know. I don't really like the idea of like, okay, so they have you ever worked with like some big media company?
That's the one. Yeah, like what was it? Not to. We'll bleep it out. Complete Video, or like the one that has the video DJ, all this other thing.
Oh yeah. It's so important to know the person that you're gonna be working with on your wedding day. Like, you can't hire these big companies who are just gonna give you whoever can shoot a camera, because it's not just about the pictures. They translate so much of the energy of the day. Like, you know, working weddings, you have to be there every moment. You're helping kind of direct the day. You're definitely running the timeline.
Especially if there's no wedding planner. Oh, please hire a wedding planner. But if you don't, respect, like, get a little gift for your photographer. Like, it's funny whenever, like, I'm so used to being a videographer, and then when those couple friends are like, I know you have a camera, can you just take pictures for my wedding? And I can't say no to them, so all of a sudden I'm the photographer. I'm like, oh shit, I have to be in charge of the schedule.
Yeah.
And it's like a week before, I'm like, oh girl, here you go. Like, it's stressful.
It's stressful.
Yeah,
But, I mean, it's chill.
I love it. I feel like it's the quickest way to get a day over with, because it's like I wake up and all of a sudden I'm done. I'm driving home. Like, that's how quick the day goes for me. But it's like, I love the energy. Like, everyone's super pretty. I almost like I don't want to put it out there like I don't want any more to come to me, but anytime there's a challenge or like a moody person that's in a bad mood. It's almost like a fun challenge of me, like, yo,
That's a
I'm
fun.
trying to make this person better.
Oh, you should have been at this one wedding. I was at.
I'm better, not bitter. No. But some of them, I'll be on the ride home with my second shooter, like smack talking someone, like, oh, the mother of the bride, like. It's always, no offense.
It's a high stress day. Honestly, I do not blame people for being stressed out.
Oh, absolutely.
But definitely watch where you send that energy, because whenever you send it to your vendors and your media team,
we're gonna take ugly pictures of you, not you.
No, I mean it just reflects in the images. Like if you want a nice picture at the end of the night, you know, like a sparkler exit, but let's say you were like stressed out and kind of taking that out on your media team all day, it's not a genuine moment anymore.
No, yeah. I've definitely, not to name names, but I've had some close friends' weddings, and I know already going into it what kind of anxiety or like mental states they already have a day-to-day basis, let alone on your wedding day. So like we were like, keep space. Like as soon as I saw her like kind of switch into that mode, I was like, okay, I would tell the photographer, I'm like, hey, yo, let's just give her space. Like she doesn't care. Like they could have 5 photos and be happy. Like,
yeah, I've totally worked with clients like that too. And I think that being in the wedding industry, you really learn I mean, I've always been good at reading people.
Oh yeah, you have to be.
But I can sense like, if I'm in the way, I can sense if they need a minute to breathe. I can sense if they're not liking the pictures, or if they're just done taking pictures, they want to relax. You know, they've been taking pictures for 4 hours and they're tired of smiling. Like,
it's exhausting.
And that's why I always check in with them.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling? Do you feel good? Is there any other poses you wanted to do? Was there something else you had in mind?
Yeah.
Do you need a snack?
Oh my God. My number one thing, I'm like, did you drink water? Did you drink water?
Yeah.
Please tell me you're drinking water. Because, like, even on, like, my wedding day, like, I hit that point where it's like, I'm exhausted. I'm going to pass out. Because I have, like, a beautiful bagel basil. I'll go out anytime.
What time of year did you get married?
It was October. But that's beautiful. Yeah, it was nice outside. It was the windiest day ever. But the sun was coming through the Grafton Vineyard banquet, like, windows perfectly right for 100 degrees, it felt like. I was like... And I'm so used to working weddings, so I just do stuff for other people. I never have, or I don't have the ability to ask for help. I went to therapy for that as a kid too. I probably should go back for it. But I felt so guilty, like asking my aunt, like, can you please turn the fan on? Like, and that's out. They're like, girl, here's some water. I'm like, that would be nice. But no, yeah, it's stressful on wedding days. Like, especially after going through it, you're like, I have so much more empathy. I'm like, let's take a chill, like, enjoy this. Preps are always the chillest part, and then after that, it's just like...
Oh my God, yeah. Like your detail time whenever you first get there, the piece.
Let me place this stuff all beautifully, like...
And then it's like, bam, we're doing first. And bam, ceremony.
And then he's kind of still spinning at the ceremony of cake. And we have like photos.
The cakes come out. You need to get a picture of the cake
before it gets cut. Auntie's pulling you one direction.
And then Uncle Joe is telling you about his camera. And then you got Becky who's like, well, did you get this picture? Ma'am, we have a shot list.
Like, yes.
I have a list from the bride and groom. And then once we get through that list, we'll ask
yes,
if there's any additional. It's so stressful, like, oh, shit.
But our audio's still going. I'll just, like, in the editing portion, just be like,
It's so stressful, though, like, whenever you're trying to get through this big list that you got.
Yeah.
And then you've got 20 people coming up to you and going, did you do this? Did you do that? Like, I have a list.
Yeah.
And I try and go through the list.
Sometimes, like, I don't ever shut... I'm always nice as hell, that's for sure. Not saying you're not nice, but...
No, 100%.
Sometimes I get, like, that's why I bring Riley, is because, like, I get into my ha-da-dee-da-da-dee, that's what I call it. Like, it's just, like, no thoughts, just all energy, nothing getting done properly. So I have to have someone kind of, like, reel me in. It's like, okay, calm down, Megan, you'll be okay. Like, this is what needs done. But whenever, like, that random person is like, this would be a good idea, I'll be like, you're right, I didn't think about that, because there's nothing going on up here right now.
No, I'm all about the ideas.
Yes.
It's about
like the little details.
Yeah, or whenever they're like, can you take a picture of me and my family?
Oh, okay. That's what I was about to say. It's like, I think that's so rude. So rude. Unless you're like the sister of the bride or like a very close family member.
I had a bride who specifically asked me to get pictures of each of the couples. She was great. No, love her. She's amazing. She has made sure that my pictures are credited for anyone that posts them. They actually got put in like some Illinois magazines. And but she wanted pictures of each of the couples, and she gave them to them as Christmas presents, which I thought was really nice. She was like, that's really important to me. And that's really important too. Whenever you talk to your bride and groom, is just have the clarity of what's important to you. Are guests important to you, or do you want focus on you the whole time? Or maybe vice versa.
Absolutely.
And some people don't care about details.
So yeah. I always think it's cool, like, especially with all my friends getting married now too, is like my big thing is I'm like, you got to think outside the box, especially because if I'm shooting your wedding, I'm bored of like, no offense, like Catholic weddings. Like it's just the same wedding day every day.
I've never done a church wedding.
Oh, aren't you lucky? I was so lucky. I was raised on Catholic full mass ceremonies. I can sing Ave Maria like so good.
Oh no, I grew up Catholic, so I'm very familiar with the mass. But in my pictures, I've never done.
They're beautiful. I love a good, beautiful cathedral. But like any of my good friends, I'm like, you're not gonna pay this much money unless your parents are rich. Like I'll tell you to spend all the money, but like most people my age are like trying to save money for the economy, and I'm like, you're going to do it low key. Do it exactly the way you want it to.
Yes.
Make your friends pay for their alcohol. Because it's
period.
And then if people are going to be rude, you tell them like, you can get out, you know? Like, I'm feeding you dinner.
You know, at one point I did get married. And do you know how many of our friends did not even bring a gift?
Rude.
I can't believe that. Weddings are expensive. People are paying for so much, like the design, the venue, the florals, the jewelry, the outfits, the food,
everything. And then like a million other things on top of that too. Like I did like I felt like, oh my God, it felt like a $500,000 wedding or was it like the Union Station? It was grand and glorious. I was like, I don't even want to think about.
I want to get into those weddings, but I don't know how to break into that market.
Like, it's all about friend groups.
Yes. So I have one that I'm going to be doing in May.
Yeah.
That I'm second shooting. It's at Anheuser-Busch.
I haven't been there yet. That'll be fun.
I don't know if you want to bleep out this amount that he's paying me, but he's paying me $2,000 just to shoot and dump.
That's not bad.
That's crazy to be.
That's really good. I mean, but that's that's what it should be. Yeah.
And I'm like, if I worked like that, I could seriously do this full time. Mm-hmm. And everyone thinks I do this full time all the time. I don't do this full time. I have a full-time job.
That's like completely different from photography.
Yeah, it's scientific. But I work so much, and like people think because I'm working so much that I make so much money, and because sessions cost a couple $100s that I'm making so much money. But I will tell you that like my photography money is not a living wage.
No, absolutely not. No. That's what sometimes like it's overwhelming if it has to be. Like then you lose your creativity and then you have to fight with being overwhelmed. Like sometimes like the only job I've ever had was to work in a visual effects studio, and that was just like a summer job because my parents were like, you're not going to college, you might as well do something. So I was like, cool. But like,
yeah, it's still in your realm.
It's overwhelming at a certain point, like having to like be stressed about making sure you've got enough money, especially during slow season. Like it's like being a teacher, except for teachers have the option to like pace out their payment a little bit better. Like it doesn't work that way. And especially if I'm like me, the worst financial person ever.
You have to think a lot.
Yeah. But no, yeah, most of the money I feel like from jobs goes back into the business, like paying for all the different programs, like new equipment because it's constantly being updated or broken because I dropped the lights. Like, so I don't know, but not to complain. What do you do? Do you get overwhelmed?
Oh, for sure.
How do you deal with it? Do you hit burnout? Like, I feel like I've hit burnout like beautifully a few times.
I don't think I really get burnt out. I just feel like there's so much that I want to do, and there's only so many hours in the day, but I just make it work.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the things that you want to make happen, you'll make it happen.
Yep.
And like, I genuinely like shooting. I genuinely like editing. Sometimes like I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I gotta go to a shoot at 3. But then I get there and it's so much fun, and then I spend the whole night editing.
Yeah.
Like,
So I'm ready to do it again. I definitely have those days where it's like I am just exhausted. I'd rather just like cancel on the person, but the thought of that being rude, I just get my shit together, drink some coffee, and show up. But then it's always so rewarding because then I'll come home like, this is why I do what I do. Like,
yeah,
like the best exchange of energy. Like, I had a great time with that person. Like, I need to stop being a butthead beforehand. Like,
but sometimes there's an exchange of bad energy.
definitely. It's the people, that's whenever in photography where I feel like a therapist almost. Like, I'm a bigger person, and then having someone that's like smaller than me, like, be hypercritical of themselves, which we're all hypercritical of our own selves. But then I'm just like, I can't fix that. They're like, you can get rid of my chin, right? I'm like, no, I'm not going to change the way you.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, people who want you to change what they look like.
Yeah.
Is this still going?
I'll double check. Keep on talking.
People always want you to make them skinnier, take away their chins, blah, 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 blah. And I know this is going to sound cheesy and shit, but like, the beauty comes from within. If you don't like yourself, the pictures are not going to change that. Nothing's going to change that. That's some work you need to do on yourself. And then as an artist, it's hard on me too.
Yeah.
Because if you want to come get pictures because you think it's going to boost your self-confidence because you're not confident in yourself, like, I'm going to hype you up the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the pictures on the back of the camera the whole time. But, you know, you can sense whenever someone just really isn't feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I feel bad. Now I feel like I'm not a good photographer because you don't like the pictures. And I know there's clients that'll come back and be like, it's absolutely not you.
Yeah.
Like, the pictures are beautiful. I'm just very self-critical.
Yep. I had one of those just a week ago, but we even talked about it in person because he was a videographer, but he was just like, these photos are great, but I just don't like myself. But it's also like, damn, you hated those photos. Like, I love those photos. Like, you look so good. Like, but it's just all like preference, I guess. Like, but
it is. And then that's why I end up delivering such huge albums to people, especially whenever I could tell that they were kind of touch and go on what they liked during the session. That I put in a million pictures in there, and I'm like, they have to like
just one of these. One.
You have to like one of them.
That's me with toddlers. Like, I'll say no to toddlers all day long, except for like my best friends, and I'm like, I'll force them in a corner. I'll be like, your kid's gonna get old one day. We got to do pictures. But then I'll be in the middle of the session, and like my best friend the other day, like I left that session. I was like, I do not feel good. Like, but then she still like sent me all these because she edited them herself, and she's like, oh, they were so great.
You know, there's at least one.
And I do not feel good after that. Like, but it's not like
the kids, it's just work. And really, most of the time, I'm good enough at seeding out like the parents and the ones that understand that, you know, I'm just going to get what I can get. And you know that this is a child and they may or may not be happy this day.
Candid.
Lifestyle. There we go. I don't do the posy stuff. Have you ever tried to do like the babies the way that people do them?
No. So I
don't even understand it.
No. So I've always been best friends with Carrie Carpunky, and I've got this like her. Yeah. And I watch her do it, and I see how much goes into it, and like especially the pre-production of like this list of what she tells the couples or like the family to do with the baby beforehand, and all these different processes and shit. And like even if it's like the worst case scenario, she's able to like use some magic fairy godmother powers. Yeah, I was back to sleep, and I'm like, I never want to do that ever. So even my best friends will be like, will you just take some pictures of my kid? And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Like, but any picture that you take, I'll love because it's my baby. I'm like, nope. I did one with the best friends.
They can't even hire you to do it?
No.
Really?
Only one, like recently, Like Riley, I sent to Carrie. Like all my Auntie M's, I send to Carrie. And I'll even like buy some of them just because if they're fighting me that bad, I'll just be like, here, it's fucking money. Like, just go do it.
Yeah.
But Drake and Jesse, the ones that I go floating down the river with that I met from doing this, they put me in a corner, and they're one of those people I can't say no to. They're like, she's coming over, we'll just do it at the house, and I did it, and like, again, I felt like shit after that shoot.
How'd they turn out?
Awful, I think, compared to Carrie Carpunky, you know what I mean? That's my fault, I compare, but it's just was...
Don't compare, because it's all art.
Well, it was the best baby photos I've ever taken. Not the best photos I've ever taken, though, just in general. But this is...
I mean, can't compare, because I look at other people's stuff and I'm like, I like that. I think that's really good. I also like mine. I think mine is really good. They're just very different styles.
Yeah. That's what I think where I just drew the line with babies is that, like, I was like, I know I don't like it, so I'm just not going to offer it. And that was just, like, I think the first niche that I really cut out. Like, I used to be, like, super wide, do everything, anything that looks cool. Just this year has been, like, I will say no to you unless you're my best friend or it's a wedding. That's it. Or if you're, like...
I don't say no, man. I feel like I can do anything. I can make it work.
Yeah. That's how I feel, too. I feel like I love doing everything. I get bored doing the same thing over and over again, but I just realized I just wanted to make a lot of money and not work that much. So that's what I did.
Weddings.
Thank you, brides and grooms and parents of brides and grooms. I love you. I honestly, on wedding days, the mother of the bride, my main goal is to be their best friend. Because if the mom likes you, then dad will automatically like you. Yeah. Making mom happy.
Yeah.
And then we just got best friends for the day. And I'll see them like out and about, and they'll be like, oh my God, I did it. I'm like, oh my God, I never...
You know, the moms of the brides are usually pretty fucking chill.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I only get some where like they'll give me a heads up beforehand, but that's just like childhood trauma, you know? Everyone's got a little bit of it. But yeah, majority of the days are just like some people that I've never met before and I can make instant best friends with just because they're easy to work with.
And you got to go in there and immediately figure out who's your people in the wedding party, because you need a point person, because you're not going to remember all 15 of their names.
No. Sisters of the brides, like, oh my gosh,
they're on it.
Hustle. Our best friends. Yeah.
But I'll go back to babies. I like babies.
Yeah.
I like lifestyle babies.
I like the ones that you do like it was Megan and
Luke.
Yeah. It was like in the baby's room and everything. Yeah, that's real cute. I like that.
I gave them that session for free because I was like, I know that their house is gonna be cute.
Nice net for lighting.
Good light. I'd been over there and seen the nursery, so I already knew what it looked like. And those are some of my favorite pictures. So great. I've done a lot of, in this winter, I've done a lot of in-home sessions that I'm really, really proud of. Like the engagement session that I did in-home for that couple.
Yeah. I love it. Plus it's too cold to be outside. Like, forget that.
No. That's why we're out of work.
Yeah.
It's all dead and cold.
Zane was like, you would go sit in the garage with me today while I work on stuff? And I was like, I'll step outside just to feel what it feels like. I was like kind of gung-ho to hang out with them. And I stepped outside. I was like, no, dude.
No. We don't need to do that.
It's not you. It's the Midwest. But no, yeah, like, I think, yeah, your lifestyles, you knock out of the park, like, 10 out of 10. Like, you're able to find the natural light. Anytime I get stuck with an in-home thing, I feel like there's curtains I can't touch. Like, I can't open up any of the lights, and I don't have a wide enough lens.
Really, as soon as I get in there, they're like, you want us to turn on the lights? You want us to open these shades? Like, what do you want us to do? And I'm like, turn off all the lights. Turn off all the lights. None of them yellows, like, and open up all the windows. As open as they can be.
Yes.
And then look out them.
Yeah.
Look out the window. Get the light.
So word of mouth, and then like the thing that I set up for, you're on it, the recommendation list. That's been the smartest thing I've ever done in my life. Because like we'll loop back around. Because some vendors suck. And like, I don't think everyone that's getting married has ever been married before. Most of the time, they have no clue what they're doing. They're just trying to get a deal or just trying to get it done. And it could like make or break a day, easy. Like I'll fake it if I have to work with a vendor. I'd be like, yeah, it was a great day. Like I'll go home, probably like, that was the worst DJ. He forgot the plug. Like they didn't have the introduction, like all this other stuff. And so like I set that up, and oh my God, it's like they trust me to like give the recommendations, and then they actually book them. I'm like, hell yes. Like,
Do you have a backup recommendations for videographers, like if you're booked?
Yep.
So I've only recently come into a space where like I actually need that. But me and my photography bestie, we shoot like a lot of weddings together, Jules.
yeah,
Like I was talking to her recently because we talk business all the time. I was like, we need to come up with a list, because if I'm booked, you're booked, and then I don't have anyone to recommend them to. Like I turned down a girl today for a wedding in September of next year, and I was just like, good luck.
you'll find some.
I'm not available.
Yeah. No, I have like, I'll rotate it out. Like I have the recommendation list, and that has everything other than videographers, because I don't want them shopping for someone else if they're with me.
Oh,
But like I do have like, so KK Films over in Florissant, and then Freddie Delangelo, Freddie D Films. They're just like solid ass people. Solid as hell. Like they get stuff done. They have their own teams, and I've given like big jobs that I had like in the belt just because like I didn't vibe with the client, and I'm just like, okay, here's Freddie, and it was absolutely terrifying. He's handling the client way better than I ever could. Like he's doing shit that I never would have thought of, and I'm like,
and that's a perfect example of how like sometimes you're just not a fit, and like if someone is creatively capturing your day and that intimately involved, it has to be a fit.
Yep. And I can feel the fit. Like, oh my God, if it smells like shit at the beginning, it's gonna smell like shit all the way through. Like,
I told Jules about that too, because she had a client she had a potential client. They were emailing back and forth. She'd had 2 phone calls with this lady, and this lady still had questions and still was like, she wanted to see her contract ahead of time. She wanted to like see examples. She wanted to talk about what happens if you die. It was the same question, like, what if you can't come?
yeah.
Because she asked me basically if I was available to back up, and I'm not, because I'm booked for a wedding. And I was like, you need to walk away.
Absolutely.
Like
100%.
she's already wasted so much of your time. I mean, not wasted, like every client is entitled to ask as many questions as they have or want to have phone calls, because it is an investment. You got to make sure you're the fit, like we talked. But you've been going back and forth like this, and she's still unsure, still doesn't want to put a deposit down, does she like your pictures or not?
Yeah. This is how editing's going to be. She's going to have about 500 different edits on each specific photo whenever you get done in post-production. Yeah. I could feel that from a million miles away. There's been some days where like it's like close to contract, and like something will kind of like tip me off.
Yes.
Or they'll ask for like a discount. First time anyone asks for a discount, immediately I'm not going to work with you like 100%. Like I know how to give myself away.
How are they trying to ask for a discount? Or do they?
Some of them will hear the price and they'll just be like, well, I have a budget of, or say like my lowest package price is $2,750. And they're like, well, I have a budget of $2,000. Is there any way that we can affect that package where it can be closer to $2,000? I'm like, man, this is the most affordable package. It's set up that way that everyone on my team gets paid properly. Like
that's another thing. That's another variable there whenever you have to make sure that you can pay X, Y, and Z, because I used to not incorporate my prices right for paying my second shooter, and then I'm not a shitty person, so I'm out of pocket paying extra.
Yeah. It's stressful. So that's why I set mine up like where I was talking about earlier about like my business isn't successful unless it's ran without me. I think about like I'm a female, I have working parts, so I could get pregnant at any point, whether I want to it or not, I don't. And that could ruin my whole career easily. I think about that a lot. And I have to be prepared that like what if I get pregnant? What if I get extremely depressed and I just can't do it anymore? Do I have it set up that like there's enough money coming in that I can pay even someone that's more expensive than on my team? So I won't get paid anything at all, but at least that client's like taken care of.
Right.
But yeah, that's what helps me practice self-value. It's like, cause it's real easy for me to value my friends.
And making sure I'm not like ruffling the microphone. That's why I wanted to make sure.
We're close enough that mine's picking you up too. And we got audio on that too. I'll send it off to an audio engineer. You can fix this, right? Okay, cool.
You can Photoshop that, right?
What are your goals for the future? Like, where do you see yourself in a year and then in 5 years? I think it's impossible to even see myself 6 months from now. Like,
It really is. It really is, because like all of the opportunities and everything that's happened, like I didn't see any of it coming.
no, you're an award winner now too. Like,
I have a plaque. It's crazy.
yeah,
I mean, look, you're probably gonna cut this out because I know it's selling myself short. But
I'll have my own
like
text on the screen.
so whenever I got nominated for that, I don't know how I ended up in the nominations from the jump.
Yeah,
The people at STL Bucket List and St. Louis Graham really like me
yeah.
for whatever reason.
Well, you're always on the St. Louis Graham, so I think that's how they picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So, but then it was me and Joan Fisher at the end.
You're like, I don't deserve this. This is because of Joan. Yeah.
Do you know how much like imposter syndrome that is to be next to her? And then like I went to the award ceremony thing. Like I was like, even if I don't win, you know, it's a cool experience. And then it happened. And then the guy was like, Will, he runs STL Bucket List. He was like, you're going to be happy with the results. And I was like, shut the fuck up. But so my mom shared it on Facebook though. And the people of Facebook, especially when it comes to supporting your friends' kids, like I think that is how I pulled that
Absolutely.
out of the bag.
Yep.
Like they go crazy for that stuff.
Shout out to your mom's friends.
Thanks, Lynn's friends. And my friends, like a lot, I have a good community of people that support me. So, I mean, it's really nice. But like I said, whenever I posted it, I'm in no way the best photographer. It's real. There are so many talented people in this area. You could name like 10 of them and not even have covered the best photographers in the area. And there's so many different like varieties of photographers. There's lots of people based in St. Louis that do like a lot of like cool like street shots or like abandoned buildings, and like I love that shit.
There's some that are even like super talented and they're like, I wouldn't dare ever take money to do this. And I'm like, you're crazy. Like, you're so talented. You could like make so much money. They're like, no, I just don't want to ruin my creativity. I'm like, I respect that. That's cool.
And there's some people that like strictly create content for themselves, and then it's like you're solely the brand rather than branching off into like doing photography, and then you could go into like merchandising and stuff like that. There's a lot of avenues.
A million. I feel like this career has brought me to like places that I don't think I would ever get to experience without a camera in my hand. Like meeting certain
Oh my God, yeah.
certain places.
Yeah, it puts you into rooms.
Like,
And then people will see the pictures and then they'll be like, oh, I remember seeing her walking around and I really liked the energy that she had whenever she was there. Like, I want to hire her.
so where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, yeah.
You're good.
I don't know. I don't know
What do
because
you want?
I think the biggest thing is like people want me to and I want to like go full time eventually, but I would need to be making a lot of money.
Well, yeah, and you probably have like insurance, health insurance through your job.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Is like my insurance and my 401k and all of my benefits are through my work.
Yep.
And that's the hardest thing to jump into full time is, yeah, I make a decent amount of money taking pictures. Like I said, it's not a living wage. And then you have to take out the thousands of dollars to cover those things. And now I make $20,000.
It's a lot. It's a lot to balance. That's what, like, I'm grateful that, I mean, it sucks. I don't ever want to rely on a man, like, you know what I mean? But I have to rely on my man for health insurance because I would be paying like $1,000 a month with health insurance. And that's like, I feel like a huge limiting factor for a lot of people. Like, I'm always like, I feel like I'm just lazy compared to a lot of people because I'm like, oh my God, you're able to have this whole career and then still work for people. Like Max, like he has a whole job that he works. Like Vicky from Riverbend Yoga, she has a whole job. Like all these people are real working people, and then they still have their passions that 100% into.
Yes.
I give you all the power, man. You got so much energy.
But you also limit yourself because there's certain things that you just have to say no to because you do have 8 hours, 5 days a week.
Yep.
And then now you got to go into the office all the time.
Well, hopefully, like, Oh, maybe in 5 years the government will have free health insurance.
Let's hope so. I would like health insurance just to be covered for everybody. Health insurance and education shouldn't send people spiraling.
No, it's sad. My sister-in-law is going for her master's right now, and I'm like, I literally have nightmares for you. You probably have like a good grip on it, like you're smart as hell. Like I'm the one like stress sweating for you. I'm like, oh my God, I have like nightmares about high school. Like school sucks, and then like having to pay for it for the rest of your life. Like it seems like unrealistic.
That's another thing of like why I'm able to be is like in the position I am financially in. Like just for background, I live alone. I own my own home. I own my own business. I own my own car. I work 2 jobs, and I have to do all of that because I'm self-sustaining. What was the point behind that? I forgot.
My 2 brain cells are over here like, yeah, girl boss, that's why you rocking it. I hate how people ruin that saying. Like, I liked it for a minute, girl boss, but then like the MLM girlies told
they're girl boss, but I think we like boss babe. Boss babe, I think it's acceptable, but we're also kind of being a little silly about it, you know. Boss babe. Boss babes, yeah.
I boss babe too hard.
I think I was gonna say that like all of that stuff is like I have to work the 2 jobs to be able to afford all of those things, and like I posted something on Facebook about you know, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, work harder or something, and I was like, that's not fair to say.
No, yeah, because a lot of people have to take care of other responsibilities.
Yeah, and like I have the same 24 hours in the day, but I also like had a job that I made good money at, which was put me in a position to be able to buy equipment to be able to start a business. And some people don't even have that one little step that I had that allowed me to be able to financially support funding a startup of a business that, you know, costs a couple $1,000s to start.
Yeah. And then keep consistently going too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like last year I spent $14,000 on my business equipment, and
whenever you get in that tax bracket, and it's like a hobby. You like you pay more than you make. Like
spend it.
Oh God, taxes. Like just.
But yeah, 5 years. I have no idea.
Hopefully, living life, still clicking buttons.
Yeah, I love all the things that I do, and if something was draining me in life, I would figure out a way to not be doing that anymore.
Yeah. You still see yourself in the Riverbend area 5 years from now?
Yes, it's so hard to leave whenever I've built such a strong client base here.
That's how I feel. Everyone's like, you'll be so successful in these other places. Like one of my best friends like went from St. Louis market to Atlanta market, but in like DJ stuff. He's like, you would do so good. I'm like, oh, my whole family's here. Like, I know I can make easy money. Like that's starting over again. That's like changing your name. Like,
yeah, and it's like you move there and then you have to start building.
Yep.
It's not like where you relocate your job to another city and you've already got a job secured there and you're going to have income. You're moving there with what you got and hoping that you're going to make it. But I think that COVID also kind of taught us to not plan that far in advance, like 5 years.
That's trauma about thinking that far in the future. Like I have no clue. Like 6 months from now, what's that? It's March now. So September, I'll be neck deep in weddings.
Yeah.
Sweating, hopefully. I want to be a lot warmer than now. And hopefully have money in the account. You know?
And who knows what experiences you'll have between now and then that'll shape.
Exactly. I'm hoping with like stuff like this, I get to get inspired. Like it's different, like watching people through the internet and getting inspired by that way. But like being able to have different conversations at home too. I'm like, hell yeah, everyone's on their A game. Like, yeah, we have our shit times, but we'll dig ourselves out of it. And
right.
Everyone's working hard. It's so much fun.
We just keep going. Like sometimes I'll randomly get tagged. I don't know if you know Heather Marie.
That's a dwarf. Yeah.
She posted something and it was like, tag like 5 of the hardest workers you know, and she tagged me. She's a hard worker. She grinds. Her work is also beautiful.
The boudoir is like so intimidating, like because after going through it and knowing how much yoga, like my body, so we're so like I can't someone to move like.
And she will shoot it like with full sun coming in on the subjects with these harsh shadow lines from like the panes.
Yeah.
Full sun. If you're not a photographer, you don't understand how hard that is.
I remember the first time I was like, I'm going to start learning how to shoot in the sun. And I was like, oh my God, no. An hour only. I'll beg someone to wake up at 6. I've only had one 6 a.m. shoot with the sunrise. It was the best senior session ever. But no one else would ever wake up that early.
That's why you cherish it, though.
It was like cotton candy skies and everything out on the river. I was like, it's so beautiful.
I did an engagement sunrise session in Forest Park, and we had planned to go to this special spot. She'd went there ahead of time and picked it out. There was a run in Forest Park that morning.
Yeah.
There was police everywhere, and we couldn't get to the spot she wanted to. The sun's starting to come up, and you know it goes so fast.
5 minutes.
You get that moment in time, and you have to capture it, or it's gone. So we pulled over. We were at the lake in front of the Muni, and like the water is on fire. I love that the water was there because we've got the light.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's always so pretty.
And I'm getting to do their wedding in October.
I love it. Making friends with couples. All right, let's not make it a Midwest goodbye. But how would you like to end these?
Megan is done.
No, I just want to make sure you get to go home and run a little bit.
I still got to go home and Peloton.
You gotta work tomorrow.
And I got to edit.
Yeah, you just had a whole brand shoot.
I did. I did.
You worked all week. Did you work yesterday?
No, I went to the art museum yesterday.
The only time I got to go there was for an engagement session, and they were like over it within the first room. So I was like,
really?
Yeah.
I was there, and I was like, I take pictures outside of here all the time, and I never come in here because I honestly didn't even realize that our art museum was free.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis,
I hear about cameras, yeah.
where everything's free.
St. Louis. We live in the best area in the whole entire world. Everyone
For free stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, there's nothing to do. Science Center, the zoo, Forest Park itself. You could walk around there for hours, do a picnic. Botanical Garden.
Yes. Butterfly House. You got 1,000,002 art museums. You got music museums. You got, well, those might cost, but it's not expensive. No.
Anyways, we were trying to wrap it up.
Yeah. The Midwest goodbye is a beautiful thing. I am genuinely jealous of Irish goodbyers, and I am like super hyper aware of like how people say goodbye. Like any party, I'll be like trash drunk or anything too, and I'll be like, this goodbye is taking 5 minutes. Like
It takes so long.
and then you go into another conversation, and
then you go, well, I've been trying to leave for 30 minutes.
that's the knee slapper.
And you go, well, I'm going to head out.
Yeah. That's how we should do it. Oh,
About that time.
about that time. Thanks for taking time out of your very busy schedule. And well, I mean, it's off season. It's about to get even crazier. So thank you.
I feel like we're all busy all the time. So thank you for taking your time to also sit down and talk.
I think it was good that I like that we were hyper proactive of just getting it done, especially like a 3-day notice.
Hey, it comes back to how you were like, how do you like manage stress and make sure you get all these things done whenever you're doing all this stuff? Do it now.
Yeah.
Then it's done.
Yep. And then 5 years from now, I'll bug you again. I'll be like,
Yeah.
all right. We'll do it in the middle of a wedding day. I'll hire like a night for police to follow us around.
And what are you doing now?
Like, Megan's in my shot right now. Tripod's right in the way. Oh, man. All right. Well, I appreciate you.